Good morning. JB Portillo here with Bella Vista Community TV. Welcome to the show. Good morning, everybody. Mayor Flynn and I are here to bring you the update for the city for this month. Welcome.
Yeah. Well, thank you. It's great to be here. Great to have a chance to catch people up on what's going on in Bella Vista.
Absolutely.
So.
I think last month you were at Municipal League in Little Rock, and we had the chief of police here.
Yeah.
Kind of set in for you.
Yeah, that's good. I
Yeah.
kind of like getting some of those other folks in there once in a while. Anyway, they have a lot to cover and a lot of things they
Yes.
know about. It's interesting for people to hear.
You can show off
So.
your team that way.
Yeah, right.
Okay, so we've got a lot to talk about today, but let's get started on the code reform and the zoning rules, the changes that are about to happen.
Yeah, the city council meeting for this month hasn't occurred yet. Even the work session hasn't. But the code reform and zoning reform was passed through the Planning Commission, and now it's going to go up to City Council. So City Council can take it under advisement for as many as 3 readings, if they so choose. And it's a very big deal. I've found talking to regular citizens about it, their eyes kind of glaze over a little. The code reform is all the language, and we needed a lot of fixes to that. We just became a city in 2007, and some of the code sections, were lifted from other cities in Northwest Arkansas, and maybe it didn't apply the best to us because, we have such a different topography and a different situation than some cities. And the other thing that happens, I always found it interesting, when you live with the code for a while, particularly your area, the Planning Commission, you'll get a lot of appeals on a certain item, and then you realize, hey, maybe there's something wrong with the way this section of the code is written, because it seems to be a problem that constantly comes up for people.
Yes.
So it's almost like we've all learned from experience and seen, oh, well, this is something we could fix here. And some of the things we're fixing as we went along here and there. But to go over the whole code and, have it read better, I thought was a great idea. It was a long process.
18 months it's taken us.
Yeah, and we had the outside consultants from Tulsa and Fries and Nichols, and they've worked on it, and of course our inside people have given feedback and worked on it, our planning and development people. Mm-hmm. And then going actually before the Planning Commission, the Planning Commission people raised certain points they're concerned about, and I noticed that I felt our planning department was pretty responsive. They made a number of changes to it. It was kind of interesting because it's the first time I've seen where we had 2 work sessions. We had one June 30 with the Planning Commission, and then there was another one July 3, the late afternoon of July 3, right before a long weekend. And
Yes, I can hear you.
we had excellent attendance and by the planning commissioners, and a lot of really a lot of meat and potatoes, hard work was done at that meeting.
So many people, and even with City Council and any other working board, of course, people don't realize how much the members of that board or that commission actually put in time other than those 2 sessions that the general audience might see. And when it comes to voting and all of that, they're like, oh, you're just passing this on through. Oh, no. We sleep with that. We worry about that. We work out some kinks. And you know what? This is never going to be perfect, but it's about 1,000 times better than what we had to work with. Don't you think?
Yeah.
At least 1,000.
Yeah. And I think having it be looked at and improved, I think it's good for the citizens, it's good for the builders, it's good for the Planning Commission. Some people work with it a lot more than others, the Planning and Develop Department and the builders and Planning Commission. So they're naturally going to get more intimately familiar with it. But there's a lot of good things about it. And of course, the zoning is something you really ought to look at from time to time. And I think this was a good time for Bella Vista to look at it because, you know, things are starting to happen, as you know, on the commercial side.
Yes.
And so we want to be prepared and be ready for what's ahead.
So let's also talk briefly about the fact that there was recent legislation that changed several things for all cities, correct?
Yeah, our state legislature passed several rules that affected cities, and one of the big ones people noticed in this case was if people have an appeal, it used to go to the planning commission, and now it goes if the planning and development department rules against them, the appeal goes straight to city council. And that's something the state legislature did, so it's something we need to live with. I know some of the planning commission people were a little disappointed in that. And I think it could be a challenge for city council at times.
But I believe perhaps the reasoning behind that could have been speeding up getting permits for the builders and the developers. I think there was a pony in there somewhere.
Oh, yeah. I do think that there's a lot of thought being given, and I know some people in the state legislature are really concerned about the issue of housing affordability and the speed with which, and some people think, you know, excessive regulations, or if you have too much regulation, it affects the price of a home, that sort of thing. So they're trying to figure out as best they can a way to streamline things. And so, you know, it's funny, it's kind of policy wonky type of stuff, but it really affects people's lives. And it's important for us to get it right, or as close to right as possible. And the beauty of it is what you said, if we notice something like, hey, you know, we changed this, maybe this doesn't read exactly right, you can still make changes later on. So it's a living document, more or less. It's not
really
just in cement once you pass it.
And one more thing, we do have a 2040 plan, which, by the way, needs tweaking and updating. I think that'll be the next big challenge the city has, just to bring that up to speed, because a lot has changed. Was that a lot of what a lot of people may not understand is the tweaks, some of the things that were changed have to do with getting our ordinances and resolutions and all that in step with the 2040 plan. I mean, that's the plan.
Sure, yeah. Yeah, it was a few years ago that we did the 2040 plan when Peter Christie was mayor. And one thing we've done that is good, a lot of people, you know, hire some consultant and do these plans and they say, oh, that's very nice. And they put it on the shelf and nobody ever looks at it again.
Yeah.
And we've been pretty good about people bringing it up and saying, hey, now is this consistent with the 2040 plan, or is this the direction we want to go? So I do like the way people have continued to study it and refer to it. And Fries and Nichols used the 2040 plan as one of their guides in trying to sort everything out. So.
Absolutely. So the Planning Commission has voted to send it on to City Council. So this will come up in your work session, which is next Monday.
Yeah, Monday, July 21.
And then it will come up for the first vote, the first eyes on it, whatever you call it.
Yeah, on Monday, July 28 is the meeting.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So the process is, let's just remind everybody that there are potentially, unless you all decide to move it forward faster, 3 readings before it becomes okay.
Yeah, so that would be July, August, and September.
And then it doesn't go into effect for 60 days.
Yeah.
So we've got at least 5 months.
Yeah, so you could easily go till
First of the year.
close to the end of November. Yeah. So anyway, we'll see how much council wants to study it and how much time they want to take on it. But I feel good about the fact that, you know, our outside consultants worked on it very hard and Planning and Development has looked at it, and the people in the Planning Commission, some of the questions you folks asked, you could tell that people had really taken some time to study it beforehand and see what's what. But it's a lot to take in. It's a large document. And a
Bella
lot of
Vista
detail.
is unique in this area. We're not like anybody else.
Yeah,
So it's going to be a better fit for us.
yeah.
Yes. Okay, so you've got coming up a little bit of a change for storage units.
Yeah, that's one
Not
thing.
units,
we're
but
kind of
containers.
Storage containers. One thing we're kind of looking into. You know, before they kind of, in the recent past, they kind of dropped the permitting, some of the permitting requirements for them. But the more they studied it, what's happening in our society is storage units are being used in more and more different ways. And really, an example is the Gear Garden. You know, essentially, that's a storage unit type of built-in. You can take those and use them to make informal retail settings, and people are fine with that. You know, so you need to, or we think you need to make the law so that kind of thing is possible, and make sure you're not being too restrictive.
Exactly.
So that's just something we have. Yeah, there's a few things we're looking into for this council meeting coming up, and that was one of them we were thinking about. The other was we're having a first discussion. It's not proposed yet. It's just a discussion about possibly having a business license. All the cities around us have a business license, and several
For businesses.
yeah,
Not
for
for
businesses.
us, but yeah.
Businesses that are in Bella Vista. It's not real expensive. Usually, it's a perfunctory type of thing, but it helps the city keep track of where the businesses are. Several different departments are interested in it. You know, you can make sure it's okay with the zoning and different departments being able to keep track of what's happening in the city. So that's something we're going to bring up and have council kick it around and see if they want to go that direction.
Okay. Something about proposal for financing going forward. What does that mean?
Yeah, well, I didn't want to go into too much detail about that. Like I said, sometimes it's a disadvantage when this TV show is before the council meeting. But yeah, financing for the city, we have a proposal coming up I think everyone will find of interest, having to do with revamping our financing a little bit. So you'll see in a few days what that means.
Okay, so surprise.
So
I know you are an attorney by trade, so you're
Yeah.
not going to just tell me just everything. You're going to say
Yeah.
something like, it depends. Yeah, that's what you're going to say.
Yeah.
But that's okay. Well, we'll look forward to that.
Yeah.
We'll look forward to that. All right. So I think we're getting ready to go to break, but could we talk just briefly about Eric? You've got
Oh yeah,
somebody?
we have a new appointment for the Active Transportation Board, and that is Eric Bartles. And you know, of all the boards we have, that's the one that's the most popular or most sought after. We get a lot of applications for it and a lot of very qualified people. So it actually makes it a little more challenging because, you know, you want to be fair to people. But everyone's real interested in the biking and walking nowadays and the trails. And it's good because these folks are interested in it and they study it and come up with some good ideas. And, you know, we even have a couple students on it.
Yes,
A
yes.
couple minors are non-voting members, so it's great to get everybody's input on that. And they're able to, you know, they have the time to study things in a little more depth and certainly than I do, and maybe some other people. So the city staff likes it because they, you know, we have things like that board and the tree advisory board, and they come up with some good ideas for us.
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
Oh, let's go to break really quickly, and then
Okay.
we'll come back and finish making sure that everybody knows what's going on.
Great. Sounds good.
All right.
Thank you.
Hey, welcome back. Let's continue our conversation. You know, you were talking earlier about the growth of houses and homes being built, the developers. Mm-hmm. What's going on there?
Yeah, I just thought I'd bring people up to speed with kind of the current status of the city. You know, last year we had 636 new homes, residential homes, and that was the highest we'd had in the last 15 years or so.
And that was for a whole
Yeah,
year.
yeah. And this year the pace is quicker than that, fair amount quicker. And so point being that the demand, even with the higher interest rates and some people having questions about the economy, the demand for people to come here, it just exceeds the supply. You know, only so many existing houses are for sale. And there continues to be a very stout demand for people to come to Bella Vista, which makes me feel good that people feel so good about Bella Vista. Mm-hmm. So I just want to give an update on that. And one thing I noticed, you know, and this is partially because of the newcomers meetings. We have these meetings quarterly, and there's usually about 75 people there. And it's all people who are new to the city, so we explain to them about the POA and the city and also the ACC.
The three-legged stool.
Yeah. And I think it really helps them. I find it interesting, all the information that you can get in a short time. And community TV films that, so people can, even people who already live here.
Yes.
Might not be a bad idea to watch that. There's
That's right.
probably some things they don't realize or had forgotten or whatnot.
Yeah.
So,
well, the three of you did a really good job. I think Selena did an exceptional job this time.
Yeah.
Explaining the ACC and its rules.
But one thing that just intrigues me is how positive all the new people are to Bella Vista. And even people who've lived here just a few years, they just have a tremendously positive attitude toward the city. And they still think it's a great value, even though prices have certainly gone up. I mean, they've gone up other places also. But I feel like we're giving people, and certainly what my objective is, to give people a good quality of life. And I've always thought this area, and Bella Vista in particular, has a really good quality of life for the price. I look at it as a ratio almost, quality of life divided by price, you know, and I feel like Bella Vista matches up really well.
Absolutely.
With a lot of places.
And speaking to the police chief last time too, Bella Vista is one of the safest cities in Arkansas.
Yeah.
You know, yes, we have our issues, but so everybody else does too.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that is very encouraging. And I've always thought a couple of things people look for in a place to live. And one is the safety, and the other is the quality of the schools. And I think we're doing well on both those counts. You know, part of the city's in Bentonville schools, which has pretty consistently been ranked first in the state, in not counting charter schools. And on the west side, Gravitt Schools is really a nice, smaller school system and has been steadily improving the whole time I've lived here. So it's really very encouraging.
Is a tiny bit of it also in Pea Ridge?
Yeah, I usually don't include that.
Oh, okay.
It's such a small thing, but yeah, a lot of people bring that up.
In case somebody's news watching the show, you know.
Talk about places that have changed. Pea Ridge is growing like topsy. I'm sure it's a big challenge for them.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so now you want to talk about the financials real quick?
The latest financials I have through April, the city sales tax is up compared to last year 14%, which is amazingly high. And the county sales tax has come back to earth a little bit. It's last year for the first time, our city sales tax was really good, but the county was flat or just barely up. And this year it's up just a couple percent, which kind of surprises me. But that's what it's been so far this year also. But the last year, our city was up 8%. And I didn't think too much about that till I got a list of all these cities, you know. I think it was the 211 largest cities in Arkansas, which covers anything of any significant size.
Yes.
And we had an 8% increase last year, and we were like third highest in the whole state.
Yeah.
And the couple that beat us were smaller cities that were in northwest Arkansas.
Gotcha. So it's all about Northwest Arkansas.
It is all about Northwest Arkansas. And everybody in the state, I think, has caught on to that and knows that. But anyway, the other thing about the budget, so that was encouraging about city sales tax, is the expenses so far this year were $950,000 below budget. So that makes me very happy. I'm really trying to hold the line this year and make some progress on our budget. It's a big challenge for us because we have so many miles of roads. 550 miles. We only have so much business, but I feel like we're headed in the right direction in meeting those challenges.
So that's not really so much about timing. It's more about the fact that you're holding steady on expenses.
Yeah, yeah. So
Okay.
I guess I had something here also I want to talk about employees. I find the employee thing very interesting. You know, the last year Peter Christie was mayor, we had like 50 employees leave, and there's only about 200. So that's a really high turnover compared to what I was used to in the private sector. And last year we had, well, the first year I was mayor, we had about 40 people turnover. And then the next year we had about 30. And this year we're doing even better. At the halfway mark, we have only 10. So we are getting a grip on our turnover. Now, part of that is the job market. When the job market gets a little tighter, you have less people jump, and I do think the job market's getting a little better for employers, even in a place like Northwest Arkansas. But one thing's super encouraging to me, when we have openings, whether it's police or fire or people, you know, office type workers, the quality of people we're getting applying is really encouraging. We're getting some great people. And that's the kind of thing you really notice. So that's really a fun thing to see that, you know, when you get new people. And, of course, they're all enthused, but they have such good backgrounds. You know, the fire chief has people contacting him from other states. People from Texas and different Arizona will contact him about, hey, do you have, you know.
Really?
Yeah, they've heard about this area, and they kind of know it's a good place to be. But one of the things I didn't realize at first, I figured out after a while, is the physical plant means a lot for attracting employees. You know, we built that new public safety facility for police.
Yes.
And if you saw where they used to be, I mean, it was really,
yeah.
So it's great for attracting people. And then with the fire, when we build new fire stations or like the fire training tower, you can imagine when you're a young guy, you come here for a fire department job, and you think, well, these people really care about first responders. And, you know, we do care about first responders, and you can tell. And I think that affects people. But in the office, we had something interesting recently. We had lady who lived in Bella Vista and worked in south part of Springdale. And we're starting to have people get jobs with us because of the commute. It's gotten tougher and tougher to drive up that freeway.
Yes.
And more recently, we had a lady with a really good background who was commuting to Rogers. Even going to Rogers is getting to be tough at the wrong time of day.
No kidding.
You know, so we have people living in Bella Vista saying, hey, I could live in Bella Vista, and it's a couple miles to work, and it's an easy drive. And I know the commute I have is the best I've ever had in my life. It's about 4 miles, and you know, the direction I'm going, there's no traffic, and I'll leave for work. My wife will say, oh, be careful. And I'm thinking, be careful. I'm probably going to see 3 cars on the way to work. I mean,
you know, my husband says the same thing to me. It's like, are you questioning my driving, or is it because you care about me? Which is it?
Or both.
Or both. Maybe that's their way of telling us that they care. What do you think?
Yeah.
Let's go with that.
All right, I'll go with that.
Let's go with that.
I did want to highlight a couple things that happened in the past, because we take them for granted, and they're really special. One is the 4th of July fireworks. You know, the crowd we get for those, and the fire department puts it on. A lot of people don't know the fire chief and one of his assistants have technical pyrotechnic licenses.
Oh.
Anyway, and they're training new people to get the license, because some of those folks are nearing retirement, you know, so they, hey, we need new people with the license. But anyway, that's always a great success. And then the next morning, the 4th of July parade. We're the only city in Northwest Arkansas has a 4th of July parade. And Julie and Tim Hall have been working on that, doing a great job. And, you know, it was started years ago by Steve Morrow and Jim Parsons. And it's getting bigger and better every year.
I think they were like 80 plus this year.
Yeah. And they had one entry that was the bicycle folks from FAST, Friends of Single Track, and they must have had 150 bikes.
Yeah.
That was one entry.
I really loved the way you guys did it this year. You didn't have the big podium and all that. You were standing on the street actually talking to all of us as we
Yeah.
came by, and that
Yeah.
was a nice personal touch.
Yeah, people like that. You know, not so much the boring speeches, but more just everybody having a good time. There's so many young kids come out, so it's really fun.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Okay, so what's coming up?
Yeah, I'll have to get through these if we have time.
Yes.
Well, July 19, Saturday, July 19, that's coming up pretty quick. That's the party at the library. It's from 11 to 2. It's for the end of the summer reading program. It's been a really successful program. And also on July 19, I have to mention this since I'm in it, the animal shelter's having their golf tournament.
Okay.
I play in that every year, and it's supposed to be high 94. And we have an 11:20 a.m. tea time, so it should be a good day for losing weight.
Yes, and hydrating.
Yeah. Anyway, but Friday, I believe this is solid. Friday, August 8th, from 2 to 4, we're having an open house at City Hall for the City Hall and fire station living quarters and the fire offices, the part that's done. We want the taxpayers to come in and see, you know, what they're getting for their money and that kind of thing.
That's a great idea. People love that.
Yeah, so I think that'll be fun. Wednesday, August 13, I always like to mention this. That's the day for charity golf. It's Bella Vista Foundation, and the POA is very involved in that. But the POA donates all the greens fees from that day
At all
for the
locations.
charity. Yeah. So all you have to do is go play golf any time of day that day.
Even if you're not good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At any of the golf courses, and all the money goes to charity. And they've raised significant amounts. Well, plus they have that charity auction goes for about 3 days. I think it's Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday of that week, and people enjoy that quite a bit. And then, of course, Labor Day, you know, there's always a band concert on Labor Day in the evening. So, but there's so much stuff going on in Bella Vista now. The POA, you know, has really cranked up their game. They've got all this stuff at Gear Garden on the weekend, and there's just stuff going on constantly.
That's right.
So,
Well, I've enjoyed it as always, and I look forward to next month, and I really look forward to coming to the work session and the city council meeting for the next 2 weeks.
yeah, see how city council handles this if they ask as intelligent questions as your group did, right? Yeah.
Thank you so much, Mayor Flynn. We'll see you
Thank you.
next time.